Today's going to be our last lesson on economics. This is just going to kind of be a review of what we've talked about in the previous 8 lessons on economics. And we're calling it community economics. Our goal today is we can explain the flow of money in a community's economy. So remember, our community is the place where we live, work, and play. Kids in our community go to school. Many adults have jobs in order to make money. Economics means learning about money. Community economics teaches us about how people earn and spend money in our community. Jobs contribute to our community in a different way. Some jobs make goods, others make services. Remember, we talked about goods and services. A good is pretty much something you can hold, like any kind of food is going to be a good, or a car, a house, anything that you can touch or hold, a toy. Those are all goods. And a service is something that you do for someone. So if you cut someone's hair, that's a service. If you teach somebody something new, that's a service. If you drive a bus, that's a service. So some jobs are about making goods, but then other jobs are about providing services. And remember, we need both in order to have a community that works. Teenagers and adults get jobs to earn an income. We did a lesson on income, and we talked about that income is just money that you make during a job. So pretend this lifeguard worked for 1 hour, and in an hour they made $10. The $10 is their income. The money earned from doing a job is important because it helps members of our community pay for things they need to live. All right, so this lifeguard, he gets $10 from being a lifeguard. Remember, that's a service he's providing. And now he's going to use that money to buy something he needs. So maybe he's going to use that $10 to buy dinner. So when you make money, obviously you're going to have to spend some of it on things that you need to live. It's one of the reasons that we work a job, is so that we can make money. People can use their income to buy wants and needs. We talked about wants and needs in a previous lesson. So remember, things like food, shelter, clothes, water, those are things that we need. If we don't have them, we'll die. But there's also things that we want, like toys. We want toys, we want electronics, we want to go to the movies, but we don't need them. We like them, but if we don't have them, we're not going to die. And we've talked about how it's important that you buy your needs first. And then if you have extra money, maybe you can spend some of it on what you want. But we need to take care of our needs first, because we need them to keep living. People in a community use their income to purchase. Purchase just means buy. To purchase goods and services. And we just talked about goods and services a minute ago, but quick review. Goods are items like books, clothes, food. Remember, anything you could touch or hold. A service is work that a person does, like the dentist, the barber, the waitress, a garbage collector. They're all making money because they're doing something for someone else that person can't do themselves. So I'm not able to fix my own teeth if my teeth have a problem. That's why there's a dentist who can. So that's why you buy services for the most part, to do something so that they can do something that you cannot do for yourself. Some goods that people purchase, remember purchase means buy, are using the natural resources in a community. We talked about natural resources a couple times before. And just a reminder, a natural resource is just something that we find in our earth. It's not something that people make. In fact, there was stuff that was around before people were. For example, trees. Trees grow in the ground. You don't make trees in a factory. Water is a natural resource. Air is a natural resource. Plants and animals are all natural resources. But it's important to keep in mind that natural resources are limited. So let's take trees for an example. We use trees to make paper and pencils and anything made out of wood, okay, that uses trees. But it's important that we do our best to conserve those resources. What it means to conserve is just means to not use too much of it. Okay, if you were just to cut down all the trees and make a ton of paper and things out of wood, well, then you're not going to have any trees left. So it's important that if you are using natural resources to make something, that you're still saving some, because natural resources are important for not just us, but other animals. A tree might be another animal's home. We use trees to help us breathe. We've talked about that before. So we can't use all the natural resources in our community. We just have to use some of them. Producers are people in a community that make something or provide a service. So this baker here, he is making a good, which is bread. So he's a producer. But also, if you're providing a service, you're a producer. If you're cutting someone's lawn because they can't cut their lawn themselves, then you're being a producer. That person's paying you to cut their lawn. So when you're making something, you're a producer. But when you're buying something, you are a consumer. So if you buy a coat at a store, you're a consumer. The person who made the coat, they're the producer. If you watch a movie, you're a consumer. You're the one watching it. You're paying money to watch it. But the person that made the movie and the people that made the movie, they are the producers. They made it. So you need producers and consumers. Remember, sometimes you're a producer, sometimes you're a consumer. Like this baker here, right now he's a producer. He's making bread, he's selling bread. But later in the day, he might buy a new shirt with the money he got from making bread. So now he's not a producer anymore, he's a consumer. So you have to be a producer and a consumer in an economy. Sometimes you want to buy something, but it's not available. It's not there. Supply is how much of a good or service is available. We talked about this a little bit ago. So the supply is how many you have of something. If you work at a bookstore and you have 100 books, your supply of books is 100. If you have one book, your supply is only one. And demand is how much people want something. The example I use, when the new iPhone comes out, a lot of people want the new iPhone, so the demand is high. But let's say that it's summertime. You don't need a coat in the summer, so the demand for a coat in the summer is low. Not a lot of people want it. But during the fall and winter, when it starts to get colder, people are going to want coats because now they need them. So the demand of coats is going to be higher. And if something is sold out, then that item is scarce. Remember, sold out means there's none left. Or if there's not a lot of something, then it is scarce. Scarce just means there's not a lot of it or not any at all. as a member of community, we have choices as to how to spend our money. And we'll talk about that in the next video.